watching this show has only affirmed my hypothesis. Now my belief that Song Weilong is the Chinese Keanu Reeves. You're listening to The Juniper and Elle Show, where two friends chat dramas, movies, and whatever else we're checking out at the moment. Grab a tea or other beverage of choice and come hang out with us as we chat, laugh, and occasionally make sense. Hi, this is Juniper.
Hello, this is Elle.
Welcome to our pod. Today we are going to do hopefully very quick discussions on two recent shows we just, one we finished and the other one, one of us is still watching. And they're both modern Chinese dramas, which is actually not our usual cup of tea. Elle, you and I were just musing on this, right, beforehand. And I don't know what happened. Maybe because, again, not many other types of shows out right now around the end of the year, beginning of the new. So we decided to check these out. So the two shows we're going to talk about today are Why Is He Still Single with Wallace Hall, and then Shine on Me with Song Weilong and Zhao Jingmai. We'll start with Why Is He Still Single, which is really not typical because it's about middle-aged people. Yes. Were you about to say something else?
Nothing against middle-aged people.
It's about our demographic, okay? Let's just put it out there. But the show is about a quirky guy. Well, it's a quirky snapshot about a quirky guy, right? He's a handsome, sarcastic, I would say, set in his ways, middle-aged bachelor who is an interior designer. And it's about him and the people in his orbit. So you called it slice of life. I called it kind of like a dramedy. It's almost like an American sitcom without the laugh track, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And we both finished it because it's a very short 16 episodes, so short for a C-drama. And it's not really much of a drama, but I really enjoyed watching a lot of the show. I wouldn't say it's a very memorable show. It's a different type of show. So it was kind of like fresh in that respect. But while I was watching it, I really thought it was hilarious. Like I have always thought Wallace Hall was or is handsome. But I've never really been like a, devoted fan who had to watch all of his shows. In fact, I don't think I've ever watched any of his shows in its entirety before, the ones that he was famous for in his heyday. But this is the first show I've watched him in, and it's, I think, a different type of leading man role for him, right? Not that he's middle-aged, but it suits him. He's quite hilarious. I mean, he's just like curmudgeon-y, awkward, socially inept guy, but who's also very smart.
Yes, he lacks a little bit of EQ, but he comes around every time. He's very blunt, the character, and I think it is a breath of fresh air, like in terms of taking. I mean, I don't know if he was considered an idol actor back in the day, but he was very popular.
He was. He started in Taiwan as an idol actor.
Okay, so here to take like sort of like that character, that face that and then turn it around to make him so, like you said, curmudgeonly and just sort of like an extreme introvert OCD type. It's just really funny, like just sort of the contrast. And he really delivers. I would say he really delivered on the character, where if it wasn't delivered well, you might actually find him really annoying. But I felt like he gave him a heart and a soul that made you feel like sad for him when he's sad and happy for him when he's happy. And I think even though it's a short drama, him kind of carrying this whole drama, I thought he's really the face of it. The other characters just sort of orbit around him, like you said.
Though I do like the other characters too. They're all quirky in their own ways, and they have their shining kind of bright spot moments. Though the flip side of that is, I think, I don't know, they felt the need maybe to insert a romance in here. For me, it does feel forced at the end. I almost didn't want a romance. And for those of people who need romance in their dramas, especially modern drama, don't watch this for the romance. In fact, there's nothing really romantic happening until like the very last episode and half. correct? Right?
Right.
So if you're waiting for like, oh, there's romantic tension or, an embrace even, no, you're not gonna get it. You might get one at the very end. There's no heart flutters of any kind, no twinkle in the eyes. The twinkle of another kind in that, comedy twinkle, but
Yeah. I mean, I would say the way the whole drama was filmed has a romantic lens to it. It's actually like I think we talked about it. It felt very Western in some ways. Like it made Shanghai very. It made Shanghai feel both nostalgic and modern at the same time, and it's really hard for me to pinpoint why that is. I mean,
because they're still watching DVDs. Like who still rents DVDs? And what did I say to you? I was like, what is this fixation on Little Women? Like who wants to watch Little Women repeatedly?
well, I mean, I understand the other movies they mentioned, right? Where there was Roman Holiday, Streetcar Named Desire. Those are the two that I can remember that were like that made more sense. And then suddenly, like Little Woman, and it's not even like the Winona Ryder version. It was like the newer, like Timothée Chalamet version. I'm like, anyways, yeah, no, I think the way it was filmed, it was very pretty to watch. Although you did say there are parts of Shanghai that were not real, like the temple they went to was
No,
fake.
you're conflating shows. Next
I'm
show.
mixing
Next show.
shows. Yes. Oh, both of these shows are based in Shanghai.
Oh yes, my hometown. In fact, he speaks a few words of Shanghainese to the noodle restaurant owner in the first episode. And I was like, oh, that's pretty good Shanghainese.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, so I would say, yeah, the romance, if you're watching this for the coupling. So the actress, I'm assuming she's very popular, but I've never watched her. I liked her in the beginning, but I would say the build up for what you would call romantic tension never really gets there. It's more like they bickered, and suddenly it's like because they're bickering like an old married couple, everyone's like, oh, they already love each other. And I don't think that's necessarily love. That's just you being able to voice your thoughts freely and be yourself. But is that love? I don't know. I don't think so. I think those are two different things.
It could be a toxic relationship for all we know, right? Yes, I had the same feeling, which is I liked her too at the beginning. In fact, I liked most of the characters, like the assistant, the office. Not the is she the office manager? Like his rep, right? His manager or whoever she is. I liked them all, but as the show progressed and you felt more of the forcing towards the romantic line down later half, right? Everyone became like a romantic interest for him, and you're like, why? Or we're interested in him in that light, whereas he's clueless.
Right.
It felt too forced, and I thought that the female lead character became more what I call shrewish in my mind. Now, shrew could mean many things, right? It could be like an argumentative, loud person, woman, right? It's always a woman in that kind of negative connotation, but it could also be naggy, right? Ill-tempered. And I felt like she was more of the latter two descriptions. She's not loud and argumentative. She definitely bicker with him. Like it kind of gave him a hard time. But I think it's more like he's an awkward, gawky guy. But you and I had talked about this offline. He evolved and progressed as a person, a human being, and a character. Where she just seems to stay in place in armor, thick metal armor of the soul. And it was just like, I'm not changing. I'm impenetrable fortress. What I think is right, and that's it. Like, and that's why it turned me off when she became like a romantic lead for him. She's much better as just a regular foil, bickering foil for him, right? Character foil, not a romantic foil.
Yeah. Because I always think the best relationships are where people bring out the best in one another. And I don't think they ever showed how they brought out the best in each other. I think they just show that they speak their minds, right? Like there's a lot of bluntness because the way they met was it was sort of a catalyst for how they ended up talking to each other, where there is no shielding of words or oh, I have to be worried about hurting your feelings if I say whatever's on my mind. But to me, that's not, they haven't really gotten to the point where you're supposed to be building a relationship. And then in the end, he's already like designing a house for them. I'm like, okay, that's a really nice romantic gesture, but based on what? Like you barely know each other in that way, you know. I mean, she said, you
Yeah.
know, we would resolve issues together, we would face problems together, but I don't know. It was like they never showed that in the
No.
drama.
It
So you're like, now they have to actually start dating, and you're not going to see any of that. So
I don't think they're gonna work out. I told you. I wanted him to work out with the photographer who was younger. That they made it. They gave you like a red herring in the show where you thought that he was romantically interested in her, but then it took a random 180 and was like, oh no, he's just designing an ADA accessible house for her. By the way,
yeah,
ADA means American Disabilities Act. Okay, guys. So in case
yeah.
you're
So
like, what is
I mean,
ADA?
the actress that played the photographer, I thought she was really great too. Like she was very sparkling on screen, and you're like, oh, I want to
Mm,
actually see her as a character. I would say in general the whole show, because it's a short show, the casting for most of all, if not all of the characters, was pretty well done.
mm,
In terms of how they played out. I mean, you might not like the characters, but I think the people who played the characters, I did think they performed the roles well. So
mm-hmm. Yeah, so I mean that's really all I can say about the good and the bad. I did enjoy it. Is it memorable? No. Is it a good time passer? Yes, and it's an easy watch. And I would say would I recommend this? I would say check it out if you like Wallace. He's and he's in a different type of character from your typical male lead. It's rather hilarious as a show. There are moments where I'm just like cracking up for no reason. Like I told you, it's like watching like Frasier or something, like
mm-hmm.
a real sitcom where you don't remember every moment of a sitcom. You just knew that some parts made you laugh and that, hey, it's pleasant when it's on, you'll watch it, right? Like that's how I felt about the show.
Oh, I really like the pug. The
The
dog.
pug. Oh, that's a
The
very
dog.
expression, like sorry, not expression. What's the word I'm looking for? That dog has quite the face,
Expressive.
expressive face.
Yes. That dog is well cast too. I like that dog a lot. I'm not usually into pugs. I was like, that's a really beautiful pug with a really cute face. Yeah.
Yeah.
That dog
No, that
featured
was
heavily in the show.
it's a good romance, almost like a romantic poem to Shanghai and life in Shanghai, like you said, but in a very fantastical, with a fantastical like filter on.
Yes. Because there's no way that girl could live in there for free. I mean, they said her uncle owned it.
And she's so poor, but yet she didn't look like she was always poor, right? Like she had a dog, she lived that life. I'm like, what is your definition of poor? Um, and that yeah, and of course he always people were commenting like, oh, he's always seeing the same doctor. Like you just walk in and see her whenever you want.
Well, people are like, what specialist is she? Because like she seems to be like an ER doctor and like something else. They're like, what is she? Why is she always available?
Yeah, she's ER and internal medicine and everything in between, you know.
Yeah, yeah. The only time she said she wasn't once, she's like, I'm not a neurologist. That was the only time
Yeah.
she mentioned what she wasn't.
So if you were to give it, well, actually, before I jump ahead, is there anything else you want to share, like about what's good or bad or both?
No, I mean, I just think it's a charming little show. I mean, it's like a cozy show, right? It's actually not bad
Mm-hmm.
for like a winter day when, you have in the background, and I think it has some nice music, and I do like the Wallace character in terms of all the fun random historical facts he will shoot out. Like he's like an expert in everything, and I think that makes the script itself interesting to listen to and learn from. So yeah, I would say it's a cute show for that reason.
So ratings. Let me go ahead. I'll assign one, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would give it an 8.0 because I
Okay.
think it's a good enough show. It's also a take it or leave it show. In fact, I would say both shows today that we're going to talk about are take it or leave it shows. Okay, in that you could take it or you could leave it. It won't change your life dramatically.
Right.
But it's still an 8.0 because I did watch the whole show and I found it, again, rehashing some of the things we said. It's an interesting watch. It's well acted, right? Well casted and well acted, per what you said. It has a lot of very funny laugh out moments, at least for me, with charming, quirky characters, right? Doing all of those things that made you laugh. I mean, I love his interactions with her dad.
Yes. Yes.
Um, And it's short and enjoyable, so it's an easy watch, right? But again, not necessarily a compelling watch.
I give it an 8.5. I thought,
Oh,
yeah. I mean,
I'm shocked.
I thought it was cute. It gave me that like nostalgic rom-com feel, like rom-com slash sitcom feel. Like I feel like even his interactions, we didn't talk about it, but with like his family members are kind of funny, like with his brother-in-law, and like it's just it's very slice of life, but I thought it was done deftly because sometimes slice of life can be very like it can bog you down. Like like they can hit really sort of negative sort of
Yes.
nerves, but here it's like everything's done very light touch, funny, always there's like the little quips go by really fast. So I would say I enjoyed the ride, even if it's not a show I may like pick up again. I think if I were to, I wouldn't be like, oh, I don't want to watch this. Like you said, there's like so many random funny things in it. So
Yeah, you're watching it for the people and the stars, right? And their acting.
yeah.
Although, one thing when you say this is not your typical Chinese slice of life, I wonder if it's because it's also a remake of an older Japanese drama, J-drama, that was very popular, which is, by the way, available on Amazon Prime in the US. So if you ever want to check that out, feel free.
Be good comparison.
Hey, I grew up when I was younger watching J-dramas, okay? I'm a more recent, last, 3 years probably convert to C-dramas. And I can still say that I, in some ways, prefer J-dramas. There's something very short and succinct and to the point with Japanese drama that you don't get with C-dramas or K-dramas. I told you, K-dramas, you always go, oh, K-dramas are so much shorter than C. I'm like, are you delusional? Sure, there's 16 episodes, but they're like 90-minute episodes. You do the math on that. No, J-dramas are like 10 episodes, and they're like an hour max per episode. So you're like, oh, very succinct. Like, if you watch different versions of Meteor Garden, you'll know how different the running time is between the different versions.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's it. Yep, so, I can see that.
Right? China, it's like, oh, let's make it 50 episodes. They're like, what?
I'm surprised they didn't make this 50 episodes. They really did keep it nice and short for this one.
Yeah. I think there's just only so much you can do with this, right? So, all right. Shall we pivot now to Shine On Me? Yeah. Okay, Shine On Me with Song Weilong and Zhao Jingwei. So I was not planning on watching this because there's two things that made me apprehensive. One is the author of the source novel. She is also the author of two other shows I had to drop for my sanity's sake. Level 2 and You Are My Glory, which are, I know, very popular with other normal people out there. So I'm obviously not normal, but I'm okay with that. I'll live. What did I say to you after watching this? I said, oh, it's pretty entertaining at the beginning, right? But I was like, at some point though, I said, okay, I feel like this is like the overcorrection to the bland boringness of the other two shows. They went the other way and tried so hard to insert some sort of angst and drama in there. It was like, guys, you don't have to try this hard.
Right.
Like,
right. There's not much angst. There's a big misunderstanding, but not real angst. Yeah.
Do we need to give a synopsis, or is it obvious to everyone what Shine On Me means?
No, you need to.
Yeah, so Weilong's just a big old giant stars, sun, and he just shines and gives her, UV rays. Now, sorry. I mean, I'm assuming metaphorically that's what the show is about, them, lifting each other up, which is what you said, the purest form or best form of romance. But I did not get that far in the story to see that happening. But the synopsis I would give it, again, feel free to fill in the gaps or correct it, is that Zhao Jingmei is a rich, nice girl, right, who has a unrequited crush on a fellow college smart guy dude who's our second male lead. There are lots of misunderstandings and missed opportunities swirling around them, and then nothing comes of it, right, other than more missed opportunities and misunderstandings and teenage angst in college. And then they enter the real world after graduation, and kind of, I feel like the rest of the drama is just working through their adolescent angst issues while growing up. In also comes rich ex-surgeon, business dude. I don't know. He wears many hats, who is played by the Chinese Keanu Reeves, Song Weilong, who also happens to crush on our female lead and pursues her. And I think that ultimately this story is focusing on their coming together.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, watching this show has only affirmed my hypothesis. Now my belief that Song Weilong is the Chinese Keanu Reeves. Which I love Keanu Reeves, but I'm like, okay, but it's Keanu, you know? It's like, you know what you're gonna get with that.
Yeah. So this novel, the first book came out in before 2013, aroundish. So like over a decade ago. And the author famously had writer's block and could not finish the story. And the second book came out last year. So like it took her over a decade to finish. And in the meanwhile, from what I've read, I'm not sure if it's true, but she wrote You Are My Glory. She put this book down and wrote You Are My Glory, which became published and it got adapted before this one. So so this was not on my radar. And then when I read the synopsis, I said, wait, I remembered reading book one like a long time ago. And I've read all the novels that this author, Guman, I think that's how you say her name, Guman, has written, at least the English translation. So I know what you mean. It's like her books or her style are definitely like more fluffy. She's not really angst driven in her writing. She's really good at setting up scenarios of like humiliation and like what does that feel when you're in that moment of fragility, and then who's going to come in and sort of save the day. Like that's what she's good at, and that's what I think young readers would enjoy. And her books are very popular in China for some reason. She's just very popular in China. So
well, I told you my hypothesis. I'm like, she's like a fanfic writer. Like,
yeah, it's like a Wattpad
right?
writer.
Yeah, Wattpad, but 50 Shades of Grey started out as fanfic, right? For Twilight, so
yes, but more chaste, very chaste.
And what you said is the key takeaway I got from watching the show is that it's like what did I call it? An adolescent romance as imagined by adolescents, targeted towards adolescents. So,
I mean, I don't know how old she was when she wrote this, but I would agree that I think she didn't know what to do with this particular story. And I texted you. I said I think it shows, because I think she started it and she had no idea where to take it, because these characters are not in this particular show that we're talking about in the novel and the source material. I think she kind of created a world that was very fantasy driven. Like I said, the male lead, like top neurosurgeon, and then suddenly top like business guy, like. Like, is he a genius? Is he a prodigy? Like, what? Like, how do you shift from one industry to another and suddenly you're good at everything? You're only like 28 years old. Like, it's it's very fantasy driven. And then, obviously the girls, like a second gen heiress. And so I was like, yeah, the story is not as riveting because it's basically two rich kids who don't have a lot to lose and they like each other. They're both good looking people. I mean, what can go wrong, really? Right. And then the angst.
well, the story seems to make it sound like there's so many trials and tribulations that they could go. I'm like, but why bother with these annoying people? So here's what I'll say. The good I already said, right, of the show is, for me, for once, the author of Love O2 and You Are My Glory has a story. There's actually a story. Something happens. Do I care what's happening? It's interesting enough and entertaining. Like I told you, it's like watching soap opera. You watch it, you live it, and you're like, okay, easily forgettable, right? And you can definitely feel the dramatic tension, though, while you're watching it, from all of the struggles, especially the female lead goes through, right? I don't know what the male lead's struggles are other than I must fixate and pursue female lead, no matter how many times she rejects me. Oh, and at first he has some misunderstanding driven like angst around her, right? Because his accident was maybe in his mind caused by her. But there's so much bad, like meaning the drama is so manufactured and unnecessary, and it's because of they live in this small petty world full of small petty people focused on small petty issues, and they allowed themselves to be embroiled. And like, I'm like, dude, if you were an adult, you would just walk away from this. It's like, dust it off and keep on moving. This is really not worth your while. That's why I feel this drama is not worth my while. Like, I dropped it at episode 18.
Yeah, I'm up to episode 28. So, and it's a total of 36 episodes, so I'll probably finish. I will say I agree with you on certain things, by the way. I was telling you that I would say the leads, there's not a lot of passion. And especially coming off of Sniper Butterfly, like where there's so much chemistry between the leads, right? Even with like a 20-year age, real life age gap. And then here, these two leads are the same age, about 26 in real life. And you would think for an idol drama with two very good looking people who have been acting for quite a while that there should be sparks or something. And I don't know if I fault the script because I was telling you that the bantering is so boring, like so bland. Like and it's the way they deliver the lines and like everything's like haha, like everyone has soft smiles on their faces. And you're like, where is the passion? Like where is the lust? Where is like when you think two young people should be really into each other, right? Everything's so formal. Oh, and they all also work together. He's technically her boss, but she's also technically his boss because her dad owns the company. So
because they're 15-year-olds pretending to be 25-year-olds.
Yes. Yes. And I think I would say that's really the fault of the main source material. I don't think it's, the actor's fault. I think it's just like it's so chaste, it's so, Regency, but England, but like the proper that
Hey, don't sully Regency romance.
I mean, like where you have the proper things you have to do. You cannot, break certain rules. It's a little too young. Yeah, I would say it's really for a younger demographic to watch like angst and romance based on very simple ideals. But I don't know. I still liked it. Like there were okay, so the parts of it, like there's a whole where you dropped it, the ski trip, right? Like that wasn't in the novel, but I thought it was cute actually.
You thought it was the height of the romance. You're like, oh, the ski trip, you gotta. I was like, wow, the ski trip was like the last straw for me where I had to just like skip town mid ski because the ridiculousness of the setup was like, wait, really? Are they all gonna descend on this one ski resort? Like everyone was just like manipulating each other or positioning themselves to be at the same place just because female lead was gonna be there.
Yeah.
I was like, what is going on? What's wrong with these sickos? Anyways, but I know why you like it. You did explain.
Yeah, I was telling you it was cute because he showed up and every day he made her a little snowman to like, represent a day that they spent together. It was cute. So by the end of the trip, she had 5 little different snowmen on her balcony, which was not in the novel. I thought it was a cute touch, but I was also telling you I was having flashbacks of Skiing to Love, which I never finished, which was like all skiing, all snow. You're like, all right, where's the romance? But I don't know. I think like you said, it is a take it or leave it. I think for me, because I read the book so many years ago and because I'm familiar with the author's sort of style, I'm okay with it. It's like a pleasant little drive. Is it going to be the most like riveting thing I've ever seen? No. But I do think the way they built up certain characters in this, I really like her best friend. Her best friend is written the exact same way in the novel. I like her best friend from work. And then I like her little cousin. Like there's side characters in this that I think makes the show a little bit more beyond just the romance. So I'm okay with it, and I'll keep watching.
Yeah, no, it's okay. It's watchable. It has the most pulse, signs of life of any of the shows adapted from this author's work. Like I said, I did drop Love 020 like right away. I'm like, oh my god, it's horrible. But it also has the annoying rah 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 China, rah 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 WeChat of, love, not you are my glory, right? And that one, that was like the space program. So I'm like, what is wrong? Like rah 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 Chinese glass, rah 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 commercial, like in this industrialism. Yeah, solar panels. I'm like, so I did have like a not conspiracy theory, alternative theory about the show. I think I might have texted to you, although it was a bit long, which is it is set in 2011. I'm assuming that's when the original like novel came out. So in some ways, if you treat this as a time machine back to the actual dramas and cultural sensibilities of 2011 China, it may work in that cultural I mean, I haven't watched any C-dramas from 2011, not that I'm aware of, but I bet you it was that naive. Like hand-holding was the equivalent of having sex in China, at least on screen back in the day. So hence, in this one, it's like so chaste. I'm not saying I need sex, but I think what you're saying is it just feels like, is there chemistry happening at all, right?
Right.
Whereas I think it was that kind of like chase, like adolescent view of what love and romance is like. And if you look at the visuals, it even looks dated like a show from the 2000 like teens. Like a lot of pastels, the lighting is really harsh, bright, glittery kind of like filtered looking. It doesn't look sophisticated modern.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't know how specifically accurate they were to tie to that time frame in terms of styling or, the sets and so forth. I felt like it was actually, unless they reminded you, and they all use the older phones. Like that was the only way I really remembered. Oh, this was from like 12 years ago, whatever, 13 years ago. So because I think by the time where I'm at, they're like 2013 now. So, um, but yeah, I would say my biggest criticism is still the lack of romantic chemistry. Like I think it's building, but it's too slow, and I'm at episode 28, right? So I'm like, I know that it's gonna plateau. I don't foresee like bigger sparks. Like if they couldn't generate in the first 10 episodes, I'm not foreseeing more. But I would say on its own, if I'm not comparing it to anything else, I think the leads are just they're nice to watch. They're both good at delivering. It's just the source is I think the problem. And so I'm just gonna watch it just for the nice, pleasant ride that it is, not because it's like, oh my God. So
To just check all the trope boxes, right? That the author has set up. Like, oh, is that trope? Oh, yes. Flutter, flutter. Next trope.
well, so just to add to this, so the author herself, and you had mentioned this, said that her favorite character in this book is the second male lead. But the guy who plays the second male lead here, like I'm not particularly a fan. I don't know if it's the way he's acting or the actor they cast it, where I don't feel like he's going to be the one that can make or break the couple because, at this point, she still had hangups, right? She still had feelings she had a crush, an unrequited crush.
Which made no sense. Because you never understood where it came from, how hard it was, or why it existed. Like, what's sustaining this crush?
Right. And then they showed it a little bit more later on where like he actually like was at her house cooking because he was a tutor. Like they met because he was tutoring her little cousin. So when you're watching some of this, I don't know how much of that is coming from book two because the author supposedly she had said that it's two co-male leads. She never said one was better or more obviously the main male lead. So a lot of book fans at the time were really afraid that like she would change it in book two, but as of like I started reading book two and up to episode chapter 14 in book two, second male lead has not appeared. That's the only big unknown for me and big draw is like does second male lead even have a chance? I doubt it just because of the actor that they cast.
You weren't saying his praises, and I said, give the guy a break. Yeah, he's not the best actor, but it's not like his role is kind of thankless, okay? I mean, why does a person like this exist, and why would she even crush on him? Other than that, she's kind of like airheaded herself, right? Like, these people are like little kids. They have no idea how life works and what, who is worthy and who's not, but, let them figure it out. That's what I'm saying. Adolescent romance for adolescents, as imagined by. One thing I'll say that came out of it that was good for me was I don't hate Zhao anymore. Remember, I could not stand her in like the Princess Royale, but I said part of it could be the character. And if you think about this, Song Weilong actually kind of resembles Zhang Linghe. In fact, you can say Zhang Linghe resembles Song Weilong because Zhang Linghe came later than Song Weilong.
Yeah.
But I think she has better on-screen chemistry with Song Weilong.
Song Weilong is more masculine.
Yes.
I feel like Zhao Linghe is a little bit less manly.
Naggy man and naggy wife, right? I mean, it was part of that Princess Royale dynamic. So part of it's the character, but also, I just feel like, so Weilong, he's like I said, Keanu, but Keanu is also very manly, right? Like he might be like wooden like bulldog, trudging through the scenery, but you're just like, but he's handsome and he's tall and he's why wouldn't you make googly eyes at him? Which also then makes you question what is wrong with this female lead. Like, why would you even question, like, should I go out with him? Or wait for, manic depressive rain cloud over there? Anyways, I'm losing my voice because obviously now I'm getting all worried. There's more drama talking about this drama than watching the drama with the drama.
I would say this is probably the first away long drama I'm watching all the way to the end, right? I never finished Seven Relics. And then I didn't finish the one where he was with Angelababy. So this might be the one.
You must go back and watch all the cheesy parts of Everlasting Longing.
I might actually, because I actually like him in this, and I'm like, and you said that he had really good chemistry with Angelababy, like once they got together.
Whoa. Did I say that? Was it recorded? Did we publish that? I must go strike that. What I'll say is they look really good. And for that cheesy bodice ripper, it was a good pairing up till episode whatever when she jumped off a cliff. And he plays the wild, handsome warlord very well. Like that animalistic, deterministic determined manliness, I guess. I guess maybe that's part of what you're saying here. Like, his character's stupid, okay, on paper. He's single-mindedly pursuing her. You're like looking at me like, which show is she talking about? It could be either show.
It's like, which show are we talking about?
It could be either show. He plays that character in both shows, if you think about this, right?
Yeah.
But that's the point. He suits that role. Fine.
Right. And he's very handsome, very easy on the eyes. So there's that.
Yeah. Go and watch Everlasting Longing and you can come back and be like, what did I just watch? But it was so cheesy good.
So if I finish Shine On Me, I'll let everyone know how I felt.
Everyone
now, for all 10 people listening. But for now, I think it's okay. I know you dropped it, but I was like, I'm still going. So
where is it trending on your rating scale based on how far you've gotten? 28, right? You said episode 28?
In the 8 range. I don't know if it's probably like low to mid 8s. I mean, look, if I really hated it, I would drop it in an instant. So I don't hate it. I do question my own taste as well. Like, why am I continuing? Because there's a lot of scenes where I'm like, I should drop this, but I don't know. There's something still enticing me. So
yeah, so that's exactly why I dropped it. I would say based on my halfway rating, because I dropped it 18, right? 18 out of 36 episodes is exactly halfway. It's a good time passer, so I give it a 7.9 for that. It's entertaining enough, but I dropped it because I was like, oh, it's killing my brain cells.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you're not gonna learn fun facts the way you did from Wallace. Like, there's no hidden gems in there.
No, I mean I could feel myself regress. Okay, watching this.
I mean, that says it all.
Yeah. So, all right. I mean, that's all I have to say. Anything else on your end?
No, that's it.
All right then. Until next time.
Bye.
Bye.